that we would be getting online. And I'm thankful to everybody who has joined in for this today's call, because being a weekend, I know an hour would be well spent somewhere else, but I think that is what you have given us with the respect of your time. So definitely, I would try my best to add value to this particular topic with whatever I have done in past 15 years of corporate endurance, and then 7 years into my own practice about mental wellness and into corporate environment. And being as a corporate trainer, there would be certain things. So I would restore to slides. So I would be sharing certain slides for an activity, because I feel like I think if you are involved and you are actively doing something, that would stick with you rather than just I'm talking about a lot of many things. So great. So let's start and welcome all again.
So we have participants joining in from different areas of India. I saw registrations even coming in from even Ahmedabad and all. So
Oh,
can I get in the chat screen if where are the what are cities that we have joined in from? Please type in the chat box which city have you joined us from. But majority are going to be from Tamil Nadu and Chennai only. Giving you a heads up.
yes, yes.
Chennai, Bangalore, okay.
Okay.
So there's one from Bangalore. Yay me. Okay, one more from Bangalore. Devi Darshan is from Bangalore. Alagu from Bangalore. One from Madurai. One from Mumbai.
Bye.
There you go.
Okay.
Cool. So, anyone else? Come on, use the chat screen, everybody. Shakti is from Chennai. Okay, what about the others? We've got very few responses yet. Cool. We'll start with the session. Let's not spend too much of time.
Surely,
So
surely.
yes. So now we'll go ahead with the session. So Abhijit, many of us blame situations basically for
Hmm.
stress. That is deadlines, people, pressure. But often it's not the situation. It's the story we tell ourselves about it. Let's
True.
open with this. Why do
Right,
you
right.
think people
Hmm.
really lose their cool? Is it the actual pressure or the way we think about pressure, or do you have certain other opinion regarding this?
Actually, you have actually broke the entire, shell about around what stress is all about. Okay, so exactly, stress is what happens. Okay, it is what happens, and most of the happens is how fast we recover from what has happened. So, if I want to talk about that, it is all about the resilience that you put into once the stress has kicked in. So we often say that, okay, my boss has stressed me out. This deadline has stressed me out. These are the sentences that keep on repeating in our mind, and but actually, it's our interpretation of the situation, what is happening. So interpretation, as you said rightly, the kind of story that we narrate to ourselves. So it is a very good dialogue from one movie called as Her. If anybody has saw that movie, and she says like, "What is a victim?" Okay. So definitely the trauma is not discounted over here. Victim is someone who keep on repeating the same story in their minds again and again, because of which they feel that they are victim. The situation has passed by, but the what kind of story that you tell to yourself. So victim is a person who keep on telling the same story again and again. And with the stress, same thing happens in your mind. The same thing comes in a loop that stays with you, and that is what is a restorative, or what I can say, a default thinking is there. So nothing wrong in it. I would say nothing wrong in it, because this is how we have evolved. So I don't want you to go back and bash yourself. Okay, something is wrong with me. I am a dysfunctional person. No, this is something that we have not learned and not practiced enough, because of which we are feeling that perception so real in this happening situation. That is the main thing. So that is what I feel like. The mind perceives challenge, and then your body get into that mode of fight or flight, and then you react, and that actually defines your entire day. So stress, if I give you that particular point, it is a very kind of an and practice pattern that you do, and it is very good. Like Archana, you have said rightly, yes is the story, yes is the interpretation, yes it is how you look at things, yes it is a mental distortion. So that is what it is there. So to give you a small kind of a demonstration, what I will do is I will just share one quiz. I like people to get involved into this particular workshop, and just give
Oh
me a
my
thumbs up
God.
if you
Okay,
guys
okay, okay. I hope the questions do not
no,
because
no, no.
point is after 10:35 or 10:40. I'm also going to have lots of quiz. So
Yeah. So this is a part of entire sharing that I'm trying to do over here.
beautiful.
All
That's
right.
wonderful, Abhijit. I really love it.
Okay.
Wherein, participants are not just going to randomly listen to
Yes,
us.
that
They are going
they
to,
are going to be part of it
beautiful.
because
That's
stress to be
beautiful.
solved together, not by alone. So
So
let's
true.
start with. So let's start. If you guys are able to see my screen, and this is the screen that we have to do, let's do a quick focus test. So you have a 30 seconds. So I just want a thumbs up from everybody. So I'm not able to see all the participants. So I will just get an idea that everybody is involved into it. So can I get a quick thumbs up or a emoticon, anything that will suggest that you are able to see the screen and you are
One
ready
thumbs
for
up
this
only
particular.
from Shakti till now. Others? Okay,
Okay.
Alagus. All right, cool.
All right.
And
All
all the
right. Cool.
participants, a heads up, you will be required to turn on your video towards the end. We'll take a photo.
Yes. 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 Till the time, just listen and just experience what we're trying to tell you here. Okay. So everybody ready? So next 30 seconds, there are 5 questions that you have to answer. Okay. Simple. Nothing. I'm not going to cook your noodles today on the weekend. So let me just keep it very simple. So let's start. Okay. So answer all in the chat. So next 30 seconds, answer should be all in chat. Okay. That is what is the rule is. So let's start with first one. So we have 30 seconds. Quick, quick, quick. This is the first question. All right. All right. Okay. Let's go to the second one. Spell the word stress backwards. Can you do it in chat? Come on. You have only 5 seconds to do that. I hope everybody is doing it. All right. Or
I have
at least read.
frozen. I have frozen.
Okay.
I'm
What?
searching for the
Yeah.
keyboard.
We only have 30 seconds. What comes after Thursday in alphabet? Think it. Think fast, fast. Come on, guys. All right.
I gave up in the third question.
Last 5 seconds. Type backward in chat like 22-0. That is what you have to do. Fast. Come on, guys. All right. I hope people are doing it. I think people are doing it because I am just getting some random pop. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And last one. Name 3 vegetables that starts from B.
I got bhindi in my mind, Abhijit.
Bhindi, broccoli, basil. So whatever you can do. All right. Okay, great. So everybody done? Okay, okay. All right.
Type done in the chat screen if you have.
Yeah, if you have done, let's do it. Because it was only for 30 seconds. Okay. Okay. Done. All right. So felt the rush. Have everybody felt the rush? Okay. Have you noticed what happened inside your body when I told you that it is 30 seconds? Some of you might have felt a shallow breathing. Some of you might have felt a shoulder, stressed shoulder or tightened shoulder that we call as that stress created by the question. Okay. Created by the question and the time limitation that is attached to it. So it is a situational component. So if you see the situation, I have created that situation. I have given you 5 questions. They were like pretty much cognitive. And then I have given a timeline to it. That created stress. So this is a reaction. This is not a response. Whatever you felt right now is a reaction. It's a default because Archana told me that she has froze because the first calculation itself, something that is cognitive heavy, something that is hard to process, our mind get into stress. Okay. So what we have to do now what things we can do to actually rectify this particular part. Okay. So I have a very small acronym that you guys can practice that is called a stop technique. All right. So what you have to do is first, S stand for what? It stands for stop. Don't get into the face value of the stress. That is the first thing that you want to do. You stop yourself. You say, okay, this is the stress that is coming in. Identify it. Okay. Take a breath. Now, when I say take a breath, why I'm telling you this, okay? Take a breath. T stands for take breath, okay? So why you have to take a breath? Because when you are in stress, your amygdala get hijacked, okay? And your prefrontal cortex actually gets shut down. When you start breathing, when you take a deep breath, you are actually making your brain coming online. Your prefrontal cortex, which is for rational communication, all those things would come in play. All right. Then second thing is that you have to do is you have to observe. You have to observe what is your inner state. Is it a state of stress, anxiety, panic, whatever? Define it. Because the time you start defining the emotional charge situation, you actually disconnect yourself from that. So observation makes you disconnected. And then P, proceed. Then when you have to proceed, make sure that you're doing it mindfully. When I say mindfully, you're already concentrating on your breath. You're already observing things. You're already observing yourself. The processing with mindfulness would automatically happen. If you're doing the STO rightly, the processing with mindful will happen. All right. I hope this particular technique stick with you. So this was the first question, Archana.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Stop technique.
Yes, stop
I
technique.
love the way that you have put it across. It's wonderful. It's also about, just like you rightfully said, it's about how we are interpreting it, how we are telling the things to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But let's face it here, Abhijit.
Yeah.
In real life, stress hits even before we realize it. At least here
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mm-hmm.
situational. You
Right.
gave the time, you gave those
Mm-hmm.
questions, and then stress came into us. But
Right.
at certain times, in the first minute of stress, before we even get into the action, the thought itself makes us stressed.
True.
So,
True.
in that first minute of stress, what is the best thing that you suggest to do? That
All
is,
right.
before we even step into the stressful scenario, we stress because of thinking to get into that
Right.
scenario.
Right. Right. So this is a great one because why? The first minute of stress is really crucial. Because your entire panic cycle, not a panic cycle, but I would call it as emotional surfing, which you do in the first 1 minute or 90 seconds. That is a window which has been proven by a lot of research that every emotion that stays in your system is for 90 seconds. And we have a very good ritual at our disposal when it comes to household that we have to count 100 to 1, backwards if you want to just reset your mood. So the same thing, 90 seconds is equal to 1.5 minutes. That is the entire, gig that the stress play in your mind. So now what you have to do is, as I told you earlier, the stop technique can be utilized very well in this particular situation. That is one thing. And what you have to restore to more is pause and breath, then to react and distract. Because what we do is we usually distract or we react. So if you are stressed enough, you will open up your mobile phone, you might eat something, or you will go for something, binge watching. There will be n number of distraction that you would be already learned in your environment. Because we have go-to stress buster, like a movie, reels, or a chocolate, or a coffee, or a tea, anything you can call it, or even calling a friend and just talking about it and venting out. That is a good or one, I would say, healthier than what previous would have said. So but your friend has to be available, not every time if he's available or she's available. So make sure that you are making a pause, then concentrating on your breath, activate the stop technique, and this is the effective way of doing it. I hope that made sense, because it is like you do a micro reset. The breath reopens your prefrontal cortex. As I told you earlier, it reopens your prefrontal cortex, because you are living in amygdala. When you're in stress, you are highly emotionally charged and you stay there. Just to disrupt that, you have to come back, pause, and breathing is one thing that it's connecting with you, with your body. Because when you are thinking, you're stressing, you're more into your mind, but when you're breathing, your body comes in play. So it is always said, if you are very stressful in your mind, bring your consciousness into your body. So if you bring your consciousness into your body, your mind relaxes. All right. So don't handle stress with another cognitive part. Don't make it a distraction part, because don't giving it overload can bring you to a burnout stage. That is what is happening. A lot of many people do the same thing. All
Yes,
right.
in
So great.
fact, that's
Okay.
true. You have a question to, sorry, you have a quiz right now, or?
No,
Okay,
we will go
sorry.
to the second
Oh,
question. This is what I want to talk about it. Yeah, I
yeah, that's
definitely, there are
absolutely
quiz.
cool. That was absolutely clear. That was absolutely correct. In fact, I agree with you when you said that
Yeah.
distracting, yes, having a
Mm-hmm.
coffee, going for having chocolates and etc. In fact, that's the same reason, that's the way that many of us would be handling the stress. So
Right.
we take it as a stress management technique that okay, we are stressed out, then fine, let
Mm-hmm.
us have chocolate, let us have this, let us have that, etc. like that. But
So
as
if
rightfully said, that's probably a
mm,
distraction mode. That is a
right,
reaction mode.
right.
So we know that we are stressed out and we are trying to
Mm,
do all these aspects to probably get out of it.
mm,
But the first thing is, why are we even reaching there? Stop that process.
true.
So that is a
So
wonderful thing. Yes, please.
for that, this is a one another thing, that is a grounding meditation that you can do. What happens when you're in stress? Your body is saying, "I'm not safe."
Mm.
Your brain is saying, I am not safe. I am under threat. That is what your entire body says when you are in stress. So, what grounding meditation or grounding technique in most of the psychology, what we do is we try to identify and be observant about your environment. We tend to define five noises. We try to define five noises. What are going around? There is a click of a watch. There is some, dog barking in the background. There is a car honking. So now what you do, you are actually engaging yourself. The distraction has to be very sensory. What we do a distraction which is more of, inactive way or submissive way of looking at certain things. When you do active involvement or distraction, that is a mindfulness. So when you just do five things that you're going around, that is called as mindful or grounding meditation. You do five noises or five sounds, then four touches that you can do, or four visual things, four visual things in your room or situation or wherever you are standing. Let's say I'm sitting over here, so I have a very good cup that is in front of me. I will just observe that. If I have a sound that is there, I will observe that. If I have a phone, I will try to feel the texture of the phone. So what you're doing, you're actually making all sensory engage in that particular situation. And that makes your mind say that, okay, I'm safe. Because stress, drives an illusion in front of in your front of your mind. It is like a projection that it does. And because of which we get stressed. So grounding meditation is one of the things. These are very small technique. I'm not going to go into details, but I will tell you these are some of the keys that you can apply. You can research on the line and you can get all those particular, nitty-gritty of it. Okay.
That's good. Thank you
Yes.
so much for the insights here, Abhijit. Okay, so now here is a question which definitely many of the participants here would be able to relate, since many of us are from corporates. So here is an interesting question. We all have that one moment, no matter how much we try, at least that one moment when someone gets very harsh. It could be a colleague, a client, even our own manager. So, how do we stay composed and confident in that space without sounding defensive or weak? We tell that, okay, this is the way to speak, this is the way to ask, this is the way your body language should be. But at that moment, doesn't happen.
No, I
Or
think this is a really lovely question. I think most of us are really dealing with this particular situation day in and day out. It might be your boss, it might be your wife, it might be your friend, it might be anyone, or it might be just a road race that has happened in front of you. That all things are really very serious. And what I felt like whenever this kind of situation happens, the first thing what mind takes it, we have to understand what how your mind perceive it first, because no matter what kind of tool you throw at the mind, if the mind is not in a steady state, if the mind is not in composed state, it is just going to throw out that particular tool. It is not going to say, I'm not going to talk very politely. I am just rattling inside. I don't want to make that particular thing part. So what your mind does it, whenever somebody raises a voice, in a split seconds, your mind, overestimate it. Your brain can't tell the difference between was that attack on your ego or was that attack on your, is that life-threatening situation. So there are two things that happens. So most of the time, what we do, we make our mind usually take that particular target. "अरे, ये ego पे आया है, या फिर ये this is life-threatening situation." It doesn't differentiate. It takes perpetual tiger and the real tiger situation the same that it is. That is the main thing. So what happens when you have this kind of situation, and if it is not life-threatening, we have to actually reframe it. Most of the time what happens is that we are not reframing it. We are making that particular part a very different part in your life. It is so much that we are not even in the realm of making that particular situation cognitively understood. All right. So I think there is some issue with my video. I don't know. Just a sec.
it was visible fine for us. Your audio is not. Okay, you're mute. But yeah, you're fine, but the audio is not. Oh, okay, fine. Sorry.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Sorry, I was the one.
Okay. This glitch was actually orchestrated by me only. Okay.
And
All
I
right. Why
acted
I've done this?
to all the
Yeah. Yes.
participants. This is the disclaimer.
So this is called as uncertainty stress. So what happened with everybody's mind was like, now, oh my God, now the video is gone, the audio is gone. So this is an uncertainty test that I want to give it to you, because this is what happens when somebody, talks to you in a different language and you are not able to understand what to be done. Okay, what is this wrong? When uncertainty strikes, like a lot many people who have faced this particular part right now, the video has gone, the audio is glitched. Now, what do you have to do for this particular thing? So whenever uncertainty comes in play, our mind is very tricky. It tries to fill it with something, some dialogue, some picture, and most probably it is about worry or uncertainty. It is not about positivity. It is not going to take ourselves to, mind is not here to make you happy, to be very honest. Mind is here to, keep you alive and keep you alert. That is what mind's function is. So whenever uncertainty strikes, whenever somebody is like yelling at you, something happens, like the screen right now froze, I just make it like, a kind of an play over here. And like Archana was also, Are kya ho gaya now? What happened?
To tell you
Okay.
frankly, Abhijit, I was thinking at that moment, okay, let me do a small energizer and activity with the participants till
Yeah,
the time
that's
Abhijit joins in. I had all that in my mind. So yes, of
yeah.
course, not a stressful scenario, but yes, that
Why?
aspect
Because
of trying to.
why? Because you are prepared. Why? Because you have faced the situation multiple times, that you have a
Yes,
prepared framework that you can fall back.
correct.
If would have been anybody who are doing it for the first time from the
Hmm.
audience, they would have said, "Oh, hey, kya ho gaya? What happened? What is going on?" So
Hmm.
that is the main thing. That is what I want to tell you over here. This is what happens when your mind is thrown to a situation which is unexpected, and what your mind does it start feeling with worries, it start feeling with negative comments, because that is what 90% of your mind would do with untrained mind. An untrained mind. Let me be very clear on that. So that is where we have to do. So what you can do is, so I have a very one thing that you can do is reframing your thoughts. That is one thing that you can do. So even if your boss is like yelling at you, okay, he is yelling at you, somebody's yelling at you. First of all, don't take it personally. Okay. First, you have to say that, but that situation, that is not personal. Maybe he is stressed. Maybe he is not, but for you, okay, for you to interpret, for your brain to feel safe, you interpret it that this might be because he's also in stress. Okay. I will respond, I will not react. This is what you have to talk to yourself. I will be patient in this particular situation. I won't make my a ruckus. I won't add oil to this fire. I will make sure that I will try making myself so cool that the fire won't come and blaze me. Okay, okay. So reframing restore empathy. That is what it does. When you actually give empathy to someone, have a mental empathy as well. Don't only have empathy that goes physical, because we already have like this now. I have to give empathy that has to be physical format. No, mental empathy is also important. If somebody is there in the road rage, somebody is like have dashed you or something, like usually in Pune or in India, anywhere, if a woman driver is there, let me be very frank and clear that we have a very particular way of thinking. A woman driver would make mistakes. Okay. And she is also driving. Okay, she is also have put up a lot of fire at her place. Okay, taking care of her child, cooking for the family, making all those things happen, and then she's driving. So there are a lot of stress. But you as a man, you have a little bit more lesser responsible than. This is a reframing that goes in your mind. This is called as empathy through thoughts. Okay. So this is what you do whenever you are faced, like somebody yelled at you. Reframe. They are also in stress. I would not react, I will respond. Then go to the stop technique, count to your breath, and then start with your mindful practice. So reframing of thought is very important.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Abhijit. All the other participants, if you are with us throughout, please type in the chat screen stop and reframe. Please type in the chat screen stop and reframe. That's a beautiful thought process which we have got. And I love the stop one really. I'm taking it along with me for all the other training sessions
Sure.
as well. I hope you have
Sure,
not
sure.
copyrighted it.
I
Okay,
I have
stop.
I have I have just
Oh
take
my
a
goodness.
NOC from me.
Okay, then I'll have to do that. Stop and reframe. Thank you so much,
Reframe.
Alagu, for typing that. What about the others? Stop and reframe. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ramesh, as well. So, since we have quite some participants come joining here from the corporates, here's another one question which comes to you from a corporate scenario. We've all had these kind of situations, especially the newcomers in the organization. When they join or when we work in the corporates, it's like juggling between one meeting to the other meeting. So one meeting 10:30 to 11 and the next meeting starts at 11:45. You have only 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, do I draft an email? Do I send 5 messages? Do I make this important call? Do I go and have my cup of coffee? Finally, what people says, okay, only 15 minutes left, nothing can happen. At least I'll go and have a cup of coffee and then I'll go to the next meeting. So, in such kind of a stressful scenario, and then, yes, not to mention, towards the end of the day, it will be like, okay, 5 p.m. is done. You have just 1 hour more. Now, what did you do the entire day? You just went for meeting? What happened? So, now, in such a scenario wherein people just have to go from one meeting to another, etc., like that, how do we mentally reset so that stress from one situation does not spill into the stress of the next one?
That's a brilliant question. I think lot many like all of the questions are relevant, and this question particularly actually checks all the boxes because this is very a practical problem. What I feel like about stress, stress is we always see that okay, stress is there, but when you see a multiple, if you skip on different scenarios, there is a kind of an unclear or unsaid rule in your mind that your emotions is have to be there is some residue of the emotions. Okay, most of the time what we do, stress isn't about accumulative because of workload. It is not accumulation because of workload. It is the accumulation because we are not able to clear the residue in between tasks. So that is the main thing. So that is the main thing, because what we do, as I told you earlier, 90 seconds is what your emotion stays with you in your system. The hormones that has been released in your cortisol, if it is released in your system, it will take almost, okay, 90 seconds to clear from your body. Till the time, if you are a practice person who is practicing mindfulness, the stop technique, all those things, you won't be adding up more 90 seconds to the 90-second natural cycle. Because what I would do, I would have a kind of stress agaya, then I will have some, mental thought that I am always insufficient. This is always happening with me. Now you're adding up to that 90-second with all 2 more minutes. Then it goes to 3 minutes, to then 5 minutes. Then it goes for an entire day or a week or a month. Now that is what you're doing, the victim story. So that is where it happens. So somewhere the breaking of that particular cycles happen. But if you're doing it on a kind of a juggling a lot of mini balls, this is where you have to do a small micro things that you have to do. Okay, so there is one slide that I have to pull in right now. This is a quiz again. Okay, not a quiz but a small activity that you can do, guys. So
Please,
let me
please,
just pull
please.
in. Yeah. It would just take 1 minute of your attention. Oh my god.
I think today the all participants will be prepared for not just quizzes from me, but also from you.
All right. So I am sharing this particular quiz. I want you to find number 10 in this particular image. Look closely. I will give you 10 seconds to find number 10. Look hard. Look hard. 10 is somewhere else in the image, not on the slide, or people will be looking at slide. No. Okay, in the image.
Alogi gave the first thumbs up.
Okay.
So I think
Oh,
she's found it.
you have found it? Okay. Can you just type it into the chat
I
box
can
where
also
you...
unmute from here. Shall I go ahead and mute?
Yeah, go ahead. Where you have found it? Which part of the slide? Not on the left-hand side. That is where I've written. I'm talking about the image.
Alogi, you are muted.
Yeah, it's on the waves. It is throughout.
Okay. All right. Where, which part? Like extreme left, middle, extreme
No,
right,
the
bottom.
first bend has the one,
Okay.
and it is
Oh,
like It is not somewhere hidden. It is like throughout.
Throughout. Okay, great, great. All right, so that is the end of this particular slide. Okay, good, good. And the answer is wrong because there is no 10. It is just random image that I picked up. There is no 10 in that. Okay, why I have pulled this particular image is that we become stressed. Our mind is so programmed to solve mysteries, getting patterns, or restoring our understanding to patterns into situation that is there. So I had thought that, okay, good, now you have thought that, okay, good, because now you were saying 10 is all across spread. This is what our pattern is. That I want to tell you. The perception itself, as I told you, the perception, there was no 10, but the perception itself has created the tension. Why this particular stress has been arise, the first thing part is why the stress has arisen is because we have a sense of losing control. There is no control in this, right? Because I was saying that there is a 10 number, come on, find it, look close to it, and you're saying, yeah, we are not able to find it. So there is a loss of control. Okay, so when there is a loss of control, the stress builds up. We make ourselves, okay, I'm trying to control something, but it is not solving. That is what stress is. Okay, the mind resident and trying to fix it immediately. It is trying, oh, come on, go, stress, solve it, because it is an uncomfortable feeling. Stress is an uncomfortable feeling, and I want to solve it. I want to get discomforted. That's why the first thing that we'll do is we'll go to a distraction, right? That's the default one. But what you have to do is, now when you have this kind of back-to-back meetings that are happening, there is one thing that I want you guys to practice more. And apart from stop, there is one meditation or one technique that I follow with myself as well. And that is called as heart and mind breathing. So I will just share just a representation of that, nothing more in it. So what you have to do is, whenever you are skipping yourself from meetings to meeting, make sure that you take 30 minutes out of your busy, 30 seconds. Just put your hand on your chest. All right, both of your hands on your chest. I hope I'm just making, okay, both of the hands on your chest. And take 3 breaths, okay? Just inhale for 5 seconds. You can do it with me right now, okay? Let's do it. Let's see how well it works, okay? So take a 5 seconds breath, hold it for 3 seconds, and release it. Again, just take a 5 seconds breath, hold it for 3 seconds, and release it. Again, inhale for 5 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and release it. Now, then you have to do it repeatedly in order to, make your, now when I say this is also called as heart coherence. So what we do is that we are actually trying to sync our heart with our brain. Why it is so? Because I think it has been proven that we have 3 minds. We don't have only one brain. We have 3 brains in our body. So one is this brain. Second is your heart as a brain, a thinking mechanism. And the third one is your gut. So there are 3 brains in your body that works simultaneously. Now, when I say 3 brains, because heart is dealing with the pumping of your blood. That organ knows which part of your body is stressed. So when your mind and your heart is not coherent, there is a lot of stress. So when you do this activity, when you bring your consciousness from your mind to your heart or this part of your body, you're actually giving signal to your heart, you are safe. Okay. So this is like, you have to talk to yourself. This is a psychosomatic exercise. What is psychosomatic? When you involve your mind and brain together in an activity of calming down, that brings in the effect more. Because if you do it with your thoughts and with your affirmation, that is going to get rejected. Let me be very clear about it. It is not going to work. You will say, now there are 100 thoughts that are going on. I will put one thought of affirmation. That would be just picked up and thrown away because it is rotating at such a higher RPM of thoughts. You can't have one thought and that would subside. No, it won't. You have to break it, but slowly. Okay, so how the break works? It works like bringing your mind to your body. So when you put your hand on your chest, this is you have a lymphatic organ, that is thorax. It is there. which is located through your chest rib cage. So when you put your hand on that, and your hand is, electromagnetically charged or bioelectrically charged, which actually states that it is safe. So I think if there are mothers in this particular entire participants,
Participants.
they would know. Yeah, they would know that when your baby is crying or not feeling sleep, you just have to put your hand on his chest or her chest. They calm her down. The same thing happens when you do this with yourself. When you are going from meeting to meeting, there is a stress, there is a residue emotion. And the emotions are just on the face value. The emotions are there to pass, they are not to stay. The only thing will stay is how much of oil you put in that particular emotion. Okay, yagya, you put oil, it keeps on firing up. Okay, don't do that. So make sure that you're bringing yourself back to yourself. Take 5 breaths, 5 exhales, and the holding in between, what I'm telling you, is because when you hold your breath in between, that is a way of putting oxygen into different places. That is what it does. There is a science to it. I won't be going into that, but it is science. If you want to talk about that, if you want to make this as a part of it, as a part of a consulting, please contact me. I will give you a thorough and an explanation part in that particular part. All right. So I hope the heart and mind breathing would be something that you would practice between meetings. That would help you a lot.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. All the participants, please type heart and mind breathing if you can really resonate to this. Type heart and mind breathing in the chat box, please. Type heart and mind breathing in the chat box, please. Heart and mind. Thank you, Arjun. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Nice to see all of you all also contributing something towards the discussion. So here's the last one before I go forward for the quiz round, since quite a good number of quizzes have been conducted by you already. But still, I would still like to go for it because mine are more situational.
Sure, sure.
So here's the last one. We often look at the aspects from what is the purpose behind doing it? If we do that, it's always a better way to execute something. So the same question applies to stress as well. Sometimes stress isn't about how much we are doing, but why we are doing it. Do you think that reconnecting with our why, with our purpose, can actually reduce pressure? What's your opinion?
That's a wonderful way of looking at how to, negate stress, because I think absolutely most pressure comes when you lose perspective about what you're doing. And it's like when you're in stress, what happens, mentally? I want everyone to keep your hand as close as possible to your, eye length, and try to look at the lines on your hands and bring it more closer, more closer, more closer. Okay, more closer. All right. Now, you have realized after a certain point of time, you're not able to see clearly the lines on your hand. All right. Now, what you have to do, you have to zoom out. Just keep your hand away, away, away. Okay. Now you're able to see it clearly. All right. So, what is happening over here? That when you're in stress, you're zooming on one particular event, extrapolating it so bigger that it feels life-threatening. But when you zoom out and when you see the entire picture clearly, you will see that is one just tiny bit of my life. My entire life is all of these tiny bits. All right. And my perspective is different from what I'm doing right now. It is not only this, it is one of these. My family, my friends, me as a personality, why I'm doing this work for, what I'm doing it. So it is not about I have to, the compulsion, I have to solve this, I have to do this, I have to be very good about this, I have to be perfectionist. Okay, it is not I have to, it is more about I got or I get to. So when I say I get to, it turns into a service. The word itself, I get to do this, then it becomes grateful. I have to is a compulsion, and I get to talk to people. I get to make difference in somebody's life. Okay. So I get this opportunity. I don't say I have this opportunity, I get this opportunity because I'm grateful for this particular part. So when your have becomes your get, it becomes a service. So make sure that your perspective of being service, that no matter my boss is yelling, he is like, oh, all the things happening, okay, zoomed in. But if I say, even if he's stressed out and this is just a temporary thing, the major picture is that I am serving my family, I'm serving my community, and I'm a good person. That is the why you're doing this. Okay, that is the perspective. So try and do that when you're doing it. Okay, so when I told you that heart, when you do a heart breathing, this is where you breathe through your heart. You're not just calming the body, but what you're doing, you're aligning with your deeper intent. So heart represent that, right? We have that particular, perpetual kind of a thing that we know that heart usually represent the intent, emotion, everything. So when you bring your hand to it, you are actually what you're doing, your intention, or you're zooming out from this problem, you're coming to the bigger perspective of why. So I want to do it very psychosomatically. I want to involve your body, because your mind is not the right person to get involved when you're in stressed. Your body is. All right, clear? So that was my answer to this question.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I love how our answers, how our interaction is connected, the mindset, the meaning, the emotion behind it. And now, to all the other participants, let's put all these things which we have learned into some quiz form. Okay, so we are going to learn how to handle some stress scenarios using MCQs. So just like we had quiz last time, we are going to have quiz this time as well. Quick choices, quick learning, only MCQs. Type ready in the chat box if you all are ready for the quick quizzes. Please type ready in the chat box if you all are ready for it. So you just have to type A, B, C, absolutely nothing else. So here is the first question which comes across to you. You're about to present and your laptop freezes. Everyone is watching. So what do? A, panic and apologize repeatedly. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. B, smile, breathe and say, looks like my laptop's more nervous than I am. While restarting, hand it over to someone else. So what do you do in a scenario like this? A, B or C? Send me some responses, please. Okay, thank you, Alagu, for your response. What about the others? Thank you so much, Alim. Alim also says B. What about the others? The correct answer is B. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Satish. The correct answer is B. You smile, breathe, and you say, it looks like my laptop's more nervous than I am. I mean, not the exact script which you have to follow always, but what it tries to say is that you calm yourself down and you take it in a light manner. So now here's the second question. A manager questions your idea harshly in front of others. So in front of everybody else, he or she states it in a harsh manner that he or she is not happy with your ideas. So what do? A, snap back and justify. B, stay calm and say, that's an interesting perspective. Can I clarify something? Or C, you go silent and withdraw. I put in the situations very much in line with corporates because we have quite a good number of participants here from corporates as well. So B, 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 C, go silent and withdraw. Okay. All right. What about the others? B would be the correct one always. Though it is difficult, but yes, this is the way that we need to be in corporate. So no matter how much the manager is getting angry with us, what we are telling ourselves is also equally important to not withdraw. So we have to, how we are interpreting that information. Manager is shouting at us, look at the line straight in front. Zoom out. Why is the manager shouting at us? Gives an interesting perspective. Am I right, Abhijit, or do you have to add something? Thank you so much. Generally, we go A or C, but now I will be B. Okay, I'll leave. All right, what is A? Snap back and justify. Well, A is definitely, yes, what you're saying is right, but we go for A or C, but yes, we have to try for B, and that is where handling stress comes into picture. Okay, so now here's the third one. You have just finished a stressful meeting, and another one starts in 2 minutes. In just 2 minutes, you have to go for another meeting. So now what do you do in a scenario? Three situations. A, jump straight in, hoping to recover later. B, you take 30 seconds to stretch, smile, or breathe before joining. C, you skip it altogether. I'm done. I just had a meeting. I cannot go for the second one. I've seen so many who go for the third one. My team members especially, they say, okay, Archana, you go for this meeting. I'll sit back. After the meeting is over, you come and give me the summary. B or C, if possible. Okay, cool. B. Abhijit, if you don't mind, can you please tell us if C would be okay? Skip it all together. Oh, sorry. The settings which I have changed it is myself landing me into. Yes.
Okay. All right. So apart from, I just have two part to this. One is that whatever you are doing right now, ABC is a good way, fantastic way of doing it, answering it logically. But as I told you, logic won't sustain in the chaos of stress that is happening right now. So you have to connect with your body, whatever stop, heart, mind thing, reframing would be a way of doing it. That would be three part that you would be doing it. But over here, what the question is asked, like, see, skip it all together. This is a sign of burnout. If you're doing that, that means you are at the edge of the cliff, and one push would put you into burnout. That is what the problem is over here. So make sure you're doing it. Like, take a 30-minute stretch. B is a very good way of doing it. Okay, take a 30-minute second stretch, smile, breathe before joining. So that is a one classic line which my manager used to always used to say to this to me when I was working with IBM Daksh. That was the call center that I was worked in 2004 or 5, and we used to take thousands of calls in a day because of some weird hello tune has been activated or something like that. So I used to get like totally frustrated, like 300th call. First 10 call was fine, like it was the first start day. 300th call, and I was like, I'm done here. I'm not able to take this call. And he used to say, I was just smile, smile, smile. No, what to smile about it, man? It is like 300th call. I'm just exhausted. I have to go for a loo break. I can't be able to doing it. Okay. So he told me, just change the perspective. This is your 300th call. The person who is calling you, it's his first. Okay. So the perception
from the others.
Yeah, from the other side. When you're looking into a meeting, when you see that there is an event, there are 10 people who are involving with their time, efforts in this particular room. Let me be justifying it, or let me be very grateful about it. That is one thing that can do. Okay.
Good. Thank you so much, Abhijit.
Yeah.
Okay, so now moving forward to the fourth question. You are overloaded with tasks and you're feeling drained. So again, thinking entirely only from the corporate scenario. In such a situation, what do? You keep pushing harder to finish everything. You take a short break and remind yourself why this matters. Fourth one, you ran to your team or your friends. Before even I finished the question, I already had the response here from Mr. Satish. Okay, take a short break and remind yourself why this matters. Perfect. Good, good. So here you go, Abhijit. You have to be happy that whatever you stated is actually going to be put into action.
yes.
Why this matters is equally important. Cool.
Right.
All right.
True.
So fantastic, everyone. We learned regarding stress and we handled it with confidence and clarity. Remember, calmness isn't about the absence of chaos. It's our ability to stay centered in it. Now, to all the other participants, if you have any question, please raise your hands in the Zoom chat box. You have the option here at the bottom, raise your hands, so that we can open the room for a few participants to ask any questions before we wind up the session. Anybody who has a question? If you do not have, we'll move ahead. Okay, yes, Devi, I'll unmute you. Yeah, I've given you the option. Yeah, Devi, please go ahead. You can speak. We cannot hear you if you are saying something. We still can't hear you, Devi. Do you think it will be possible for you to type in the chat screen?
That,
Yes.
your computer just makes a random question saying allow this microphone. So yeah, I had to accept it. But yeah, so this is Devi here. I'm from Bangalore. I am a second year college student. I am studying political science and history, right? So I come from a completely humanities based lens for this webinar. And listening today, I realized something that stress might be universal, but the world we each operate isn't. Like I'm 19, but I'm not switching between boardrooms or managing clients. My stress comes from long hours of studying, the slow pressure that builds by like shaping your future and like preparing for paths like civil services and as such. So it's very different from the rhythm from the corporate pace this session focuses on, right? So my question is, for someone my age in this stage of life, what is one real sustainable way to build emotional resilience, like something that works with slow building academic pressure, not just the fast corporate stress? But I think our generation needs guidance that actually understands our context, because I understand that this framework of audience come from years of experiences in corporate, but then also knowing that I'm I'm like this odd one out into the group, I think I need some practical ways on like to know how students my age would actually handle stress. I think this brings to a point where addressing the audience may like sort of change, because I did get it. There were certain ways I think I could relate to it, but I was also staying out of loop most of the time, because knowing that would I actually do it when I am like talking to a client or something, that is different, because there was a huge generational gap. I don't think I would have done a lot of like things that was being posted into the quiz. So that's why I wanted to ask, what is one practical way to build our emotional resilience as people into early adulthood?
Okay,
Yes.
interesting. So the entire, tools that I have been given to you, it is like a spoon. Okay. So a spoon can be utilized by a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, right? But what to scoop out of it, it is your choice. So now I can understand the tools are like it's a utility. The breath work that I talked about, the stop technique. This is very universal. Whenever you are in stress, if you apply it, and I always say that, what happens? This is what your mind is talking about. Still, you're not convinced that okay, this is going to work or not. There is still a skeptical part, which is about your comfort zone, is talking to you. This is not going to work for me, right? That is what comes to you when I talk about tools. Like the breath work that I talked about, it is a universal thing. If you go to any meditation, okay, Sambhavi Mudra or Sambhavi meditation that has been very much, what I can say, advertised by Sadhguru. So that is very breath work related technique. Why I'm talking about breath? Because breath is the only way when you are able to calmer your entire stress. And as you said that there is a build-up of stress that is happening. And as I told you, it's a residue that is happening. It is not the build-up, it is the residue. You're not able to process the emotions as they are. And what we do, I do understand. I'm not blaming you. When I was of your age, every emotion was so intense and so powerful, right? It stands in your face and you don't have anything else to, do apart from addressing that particular emotions. But when I told you that try to go into, heart coherence meditation, bring your body in that particular situation, because your mind is running a lot. There are a lot of hormones that you're dealing with you right now. For me, it is lesser hormones right now at the age of 40. For you, definitely, there will be a lot of hormones with intensity that is going on. So whenever there is intensity, when I say it is like hyper arousal that you are achieving, make sure that you slow things down. So do a, mindful walk. I know it's a counterproductive, because the kind of generation that you come in, you say, I have to be very fast. I have to have this particular thing, apply modular, and I have to get that particular, calmness. It is not a pill. It is a practice, and is far more sustainable than any kind of a pill. So if I talk about one tool that you can work with, is your breath work. Try to have a calmer breath, the more, and that can be done by Anulom Vilom. That can be done with Bhasrika, that you can do in the morning. So before you start your day, regulate your breath first. Make your lungs so capable, because the diaphragm is something that is not, in coordination when it comes to stress. So what you have to do, if you have to lift up some weight, you have to really build that muscle. Right now, why you're feeling that particular part not going as per as, because that muscle is weak. That is what is the problem. Why we are at this particular age, why you're able to handle, apart from our academic pressure and traumas, everybody has gone through their academics. Okay, the senior trauma, the kind of inferiority complex, all those things that are there, we also have been through that, and now we are raising families. I'm not discounting your trauma right now. I'm just saying that we have stumbled upon this particular thing. You have a very good time to practice and master it. So I always say that insight is not alone responsible for enlightenment. practice is. When you practice more, the enlightenment happens, not with insight. No matter how much of cognitive clarity I would give to you, unless and until you don't follow it, practice it, and make your strength of that muscle, you won't be able to see the result. You won't be able to lift it. You're not able to lift your perspective. That is what is the problem. You're not able to lift and look beyond that rock which is in front of you. So I hope I have answered your question.
So thank you, Mr. Abhijit. And Ramesh, I did see a question, but I'm so sorry, with the advent of time, we will be limiting it to it. However, Abhijit had posted in the chat screen his LinkedIn link. I request you to please connect with him. And if you have any clarifications, feel free to reach out to him for that question as well. I hope that's fine, Mr. Abhijit.
Yeah. Fine.
Okay, cool. All right, so we are ending it because we are already a little bit, just 1 minute delayed. So thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Thank you to Mr. Abhijit as well. And please remember that our next session is going to be on the coming Saturday on 22nd November. The details are put up in the chat screen. It would be by Ms. Priyanka. Feel free to register it right away. Register for it right now so that the link will not be lost. Join us in our community, in our WhatsApp community. If you do not have the link, you have the number there right in front of me, 9042955370. Drop me a text and I'll send you the community link as well. All the other participants, request you to please turn on the video so that we can take a quick small class snap with all of you. Missed it last time, but I do not wish to miss it this time as well. Were it possible? Okay, Ramesh has turned on the video. Thank you so much, Ramesh. I'm going to add the spotlight here. Thank you so much. Okay, so you are Mr. Ramesh. Hello. What about the others? Okay, Aleem has also turned on his video. Perfect. Thank you so much. Spotlight. So we have Aleem as well. Ramesh, the video is off. Was that done by mistake? Okay, cool. All right. Anybody else who will be available? No, we do not have. Okay, so only 4 of us. That's fine. No issues. We'll take a small kick. Anything which you want to do, that's fine. Otherwise, you can stay as right now. Okay, I'll go ahead. Cool. So 1, 2, and 3. Pick a stick. Cool. So I'll drop it in the chat box. Feel free to download it and use it if you would like. I'm also going to put it up onto the LinkedIn. We are available on the various social media sites. Please go ahead, Alago. Thank you so much. Looking forward for you in the next session. So to all the others, we are there on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I've sent the link in the chat screen. Hope you would have seen it. Our next session is going to be on 22nd November by Ms. Priyanka. That detail is also in the chat screen. Please scroll a little bit above and you will be able to see the registration link for that. Also, the WhatsApp community link is there as well in the chat screen. And please say thank you. Please drop a thank you to Mr. Abhijit for taking out time from his schedule for the session today. Please drop a message. Thank you, Mr. Abhijit. I think participants said that before they even left.
Thank you so much.
We really had to.
Thank you, everyone who is still there at the end.
As soon as possible. It was wonderful. Thanks. So thank you so much, Abhijit. Thanks a ton from our side as well for taking out time from your schedule and coming for the session. It's really very much appreciated. Hoping to see you again in the coming up sessions. I would love to invite you in as well. Okay, and to all the other participants who are there still with us, let's meet again next Saturday, same time, same enthusiasm, and a brand new topic. The details are there in the chat screen, which will help us grow, lead, and communicate with confidence. Till then, stay confident, stay connected, and keep communicating. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.